The downfall of marriage can stem from many things: a heated argument, unresolved tension, or, as in my case, a revelation that changes everything. It wasn't the fight itself that ended my relationship with Stacy. No, it was what I uncovered in the middle of one of our usual, all-too-familiar squabbles. It all began on a seemingly ordinary Saturday morning. Stacy and I once again found ourselves caught in yet another shouting match. Funny enough, I can't even remember what triggered it. Probably something trivial: dirty dishes, laundry left unfolded, or some other petty household disagreement. That was just how we were. Throughout our time together, we both had this insatiable need to prove we were right, to impose our opinions on each other, as if every little thing was a battle that needed to be won. Our fights could get so intense that we'd go days without speaking. It didn't matter if the argument was over what movie to watch or whether someone should rinse their coffee cup. Our tempers flared with the same intensity. At some point, we accepted this as our Italian-style relationship, convincing ourselves that fiery clashes were just part of the passion. That morning was no different. We yelled, threw hurtful words at each other, digging deep to find the sharpest insults, the ones that would sting the most. Then Stacy screamed, "That's it, I'm done. I'm leaving you forever." Without thinking, I shot back, "Who even needs someone as hysterical as you? Where are you going to find another idiot willing to put up with you?" I know, not my finest moment, but back then all I cared about was landing the most painful blow. Normally, she'd snap back with something just as cutting, but this time something shifted. Her expression changed. Her anger didn't explode outward like usual. Instead, her eyes burned with a quiet, controlled rage. And then she said it. "You think no one wants me? My boss has been after me for a long time. He actually thinks I'm amazing." With that, she slammed the door and walked out. Her words hit me like a truck. I was shattered, overwhelmed with rage and betrayal. I needed to confront her, to scream, to demand an explanation. But despite my temper, I had never and would never lay a hand on a woman. Instead, I just wanted to erase that moment from my mind, forget it had ever happened, sleep through it, run away, anything but sit there drowning in the pain. 3 days passed, 3 long, bitter days where I tried to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, I had imagined the whole thing, that it was just another one of our fights gone too far. But then she came back, and she wasn't alone. 2 movers trailed behind her as she walked into our apartment, heading straight for her things. Without a word, she packed up her life, loaded everything into the waiting car downstairs, and left. Just like that. There was no screaming this time, no last-minute attempt to hurt each other with words. It was over. For a while, the fights continued, only now they played out over the phone. And then eventually, even those stopped. We spent the next 6 months apart. I cycled through every emotion imaginable: anger, jealousy, regret. I couldn't shake the dreams where our fight ended differently, where Stacy came running back into my arms, confessing she had only said those things to hurt me, that there had never been another man. But every time I woke up, reality hit like a punch to the gut. She had betrayed me, and she was gone, until she wasn't. One evening, out of nowhere, she showed up at my door. No warning, no explanation, just rang the bell like nothing had happened. When I opened it, she strolled past me, straight to the kitchen, and started making coffee. I watched in stunned silence as she moved around like she still belonged there. Then, as if 6 months of chaos and heartbreak had never happened, she took a sip of her coffee, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "I want to start over." "Hold on a second." I cut in, unable to hide how much her words unsettled me. "You do realize there's one thing I can never forgive, right? Infidelity. Physical infidelity." Stacy lowered her gaze, avoiding my eyes. But I wasn't done. "The thought of you being with someone else, of you and him together, will never leave me. It'll creep into my mind at the worst moments, haunt me every time we're close. And I know myself. I won't be able to move past it." She didn't say a word. Neither did I. The silence between us was suffocating. Deep down, a small, desperate part of me clung to one last hope. If she made it all up just to hurt me, that would be different. That maybe I could forgive. After thinking it through, I realized starting over might actually be possible. And then, as if reading my mind, Stacy confessed, "I made it all up. There was no affair. I just wanted to hurt you, to get back at you for saying no one would ever want me. I'm sorry." A single tear welled up in her eye, her face full of what seemed like genuine remorse. It was the perfect setup for a dramatic reconciliation, the kind where we'd fall into each other's arms, forgive everything, and pretend love conquered all. Except I already knew the truth. I had proof. I had spoken to one of her coworkers, someone who knew everything. And reality? For the past 6 months, Stacy had been living in an apartment, one that wasn't hers, but paid for by her actual lover, her boss. When I laid it all out for her, she didn't try to argue. She didn't deny it. She didn't even pretend to be shocked. Instead, she grabbed her purse and bolted. 1 second she was there, the next gone. That was all I needed to know. As it turned out, her grand return to me had nothing to do with love, regret, or second chances. It was desperation, plain and simple. Her relationship with her boss, the one she had risked everything for, had blown up in her face. This guy was narcissistic. He lured her with promises of a new life together. He swore he would take her with him, told her everything she wanted to hear. But when the time came, when his paperwork was finally approved, he dumped her. Exactly. Even worse, he had only paid her rent for 1 extra month. That's when reality hit her. She'd been used. And suddenly, her imperfect, ordinary husband, the one who had always taken care of her, didn't seem so bad. So she came crawling back, ready to lie to my face, hoping to rewrite history. But her little act didn't work. Now she's the one left picking up the pieces, while her lover flies off to a new life without her. And me? I'm finally free from the lies.